Ethan Pierce floated in the darkness of space. His escape pod drifted among the stars. It had been 3 days since his ship was attacked. The oxygen meter blinked red. He had maybe 6 hours left. Ethan closed his eyes and thought about Earth, about the blue skies he would never see again. A soft beep from the control panel made him open his eyes. Something was out there. The radar showed a large object moving toward him. At first he thought it might be debris, but it moved with purpose. A ship. "This is Commander Ethan Pierce of Earth Space Force. Do you read me?" he said into the radio. His voice was weak from thirst. No answer came back. The ship grew closer. It did not look like any ship Ethan had ever seen. It was black and smooth like liquid metal frozen in space. It had no sharp edges or visible engines. It simply moved, silent and graceful. A blue light shot out from the strange ship and wrapped around his pod. Ethan felt a pull as the light, some kind of tractor beam, drew him toward the larger vessel. He should have been scared, but all he felt was relief. Even if these aliens killed him, at least he wouldn't die alone in the emptiness of space. The pod slid into an opening in the side of the black ship. The door closed behind him. Air hissed as the chamber filled with atmosphere. Ethan's ears popped. He could breathe again, but was it safe? His oxygen meter stopped blinking. Whatever air filled the room, his sensors said it was fine to breathe. The pod door opened on its own. Ethan tried to stand but fell. His legs were weak after days in the tiny space. The room around him was dim. The walls seemed to pulse with faint blue light. The floor was warm under his hands. "Hello?" Ethan called out. His voice echoed. A door slid open on the far side of the room. A tall figure stood there. In the low light, Ethan could only see a shape. It was clearly not human, too tall, too slender, with limbs that seemed too long. The figure moved toward him with strange grace, as if partly floating. As it came closer, Ethan saw more details. The being was female, or at least seemed so to his human eyes. She wore a tight suit that might have been armor. Her hands had too many fingers, 6 or 7 on each hand. But her face remained hidden behind a mask. The mask was beautiful and scary at the same time. It had patterns that glowed softly, changing colors from blue to green to purple. "You are damaged," the being said. The words came out strange, like music, but also like machine sounds. Some kind of translator must be working. Ethan tried to answer but coughed instead. His throat was too dry. The alien stepped closer and knelt beside him. She was much taller than him, even kneeling. From this close, he could see that her skin, where visible at her neck, looked like dark blue silk with tiny lights moving under it, like stars. "I will repair you," she said. She reached out and touched his forehead with one of her many-fingered hands. Ethan wanted to pull away but couldn't move. A warm feeling spread from her touch, moving through his body. The pain in his limbs faded. The dryness in his throat went away. His mind felt clearer than it had in days. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice normal again. The alien stood up and stepped back. "Rest now. Questions later." She pointed to a spot on the wall which opened up to show a bed-like platform. Ethan stood up, surprised that he could now do so easily. Whatever she had done had healed him somehow. He walked to the platform and sat down. "Thank you for saving me," he said. The alien tilted her head, the mask hiding any expression she might have. "I did not save you for kindness. I saved you because I need you." Before Ethan could ask what she meant, she turned and left the room. The door closed behind her, leaving him alone. Ethan lay down on the platform, which shaped itself to fit his body perfectly. Despite all the questions in his mind, he felt tired. His eyes closed and he drifted to sleep. He dreamed of stars and darkness, of ships burning, of a planet breaking apart, and through it all, a voice called to him in a language he didn't understand. When Ethan woke up, food waited for him on a small table that hadn't been there before. At least he thought it was food. Small cubes of different colors sat on a plate. A cup held clear liquid. He was hungry enough to try anything. The food tasted better than it looked. Each cube had a different flavor, some like fruits he knew, others completely new but good. The drink was water, but somehow it tasted better than any water he'd had before. As he ate, Ethan looked around the room. It was larger than he first thought. The walls curved in strange ways. There were no sharp corners anywhere. Everything flowed into everything else. The blue light came from everywhere and nowhere. He stood up and walked around. The floor felt slightly soft under his feet. He found no doors except the one the alien had used. He tried pushing on it, but it didn't move. "Hello?" he called out. "Can anyone hear me?" No answer came. Ethan sat back down on the bed and waited. Hours passed, or what felt like hours. Hard to tell without a clock. He dozed off again. A loud sound woke him up. The ship shook. Alarms, or something like alarms, made high singing sounds. The blue light turned red. The door slid open. The alien stood there, her mask now glowing red to match the lights. "We are under attack," she said. "The Carva have found us." "The who?" Ethan asked, standing up quickly. "The ones who destroyed your ship. The ones who hunt me." She held out her hand. "Come, it is not safe here." Ethan took her hand without thinking. Her skin felt smooth and cool. She pulled him through the door into a hallway that bent and curved like the room. They ran together, her steps light and fast. Ethan struggled to keep up. They reached what must have been the control room. A large window or screen showed the space outside. A huge ship, all sharp angles and red lights, moved toward them. Smaller ships flew around it like angry insects. "Who are they? Why are they after you?" Ethan asked. The alien sat in a chair that grew up from the floor to meet her. Her hands moved over controls that appeared in the air around her. "They are the Carva Dominion. They destroyed my world. I am the last of my kind." Her voice had no emotion. "They hunt me because I carry something they want." "What do you carry?" She turned to look at him, her mask still hiding her face. "Knowledge, power, the future." She looked back at the screen. "And now they hunt you too because you are with me." The ship shook again as something hit them. The alien's fingers danced faster through the air. The black ship turned and accelerated. Stars streaked past on the screen. "My name is Ethan," he said, holding onto a wall as the ship moved. "What's yours?" For a long moment she didn't answer. Then as the stars blurred around them and the enemy ships fell behind, she spoke. "I am called Valix," she said, "last daughter of the Lumina, last keeper of the Void Key." She turned to him, her mask glowing blue again. "And you, Ethan of Earth, are now part of a war you never knew existed." Ethan didn't see Valix for 3 days after their escape from the Carva ships. Her vessel moved through space at speeds he didn't think possible. The stars outside the viewing port stretched into long lines of light, then faded into a strange purple mist. They were traveling in some way he had never seen before. He explored the ship as best he could. Many doors would not open for him. The ones that did led to empty rooms or storage areas filled with objects he couldn't understand. The ship seemed to know what he needed. Food appeared when he was hungry. A shower-like room with warm mist cleaned him when he was dirty. Clothes that fit him perfectly waited for him after. On the 4th day, he found his way back to the control room. Valix stood there looking at star maps that floated in the air. Her back was to him. She still wore her mask. "Where are we going?" Ethan asked. Valix didn't turn around. "Somewhere safe. For now. And then what?" "Then I continue my mission." "And you," she paused. "You will have a choice to make." Ethan stepped closer. The star maps showed systems he didn't recognize. "What choice?" "To help me, or to go back to your people." She waved her hand and the maps disappeared. "But that choice comes later. First, you must learn." "Learn what?" Valix finally turned to face him. Her mask glowed softly blue in the dim light. "Everything." Over the next few weeks, Valix taught Ethan about the galaxy, about the war that had been going on for centuries. The Carva Dominion had once been a small group of planets. Now they controlled nearly a quarter of the galaxy. They took worlds by force. They changed planets to suit their needs, killing native life forms that got in their way. Valix's people, the Lumina, had fought against them. The Lumina were few but powerful. They had technology the Carva wanted, something called the Void Key. "What is this Void Key?" Ethan asked one day as they sat in what he now called the garden room. Strange plants from worlds he had never seen grew here. Some moved on their own. Some sang soft songs when touched. "It is not a key as you think of one," Valix said. She sat very still, her long fingers touching the petals of a blue flower. "It is knowledge, science, a way to bend space and time. Like how your ship travels?" "Yes, but more. Much more." She looked at him. Her mask today had patterns that reminded him of ocean waves. "The Void Key can open doors to other realities. It can create or destroy on a scale you cannot imagine. And you have this key?" Valix stood up. She was a full head taller than him. "I am the key, Ethan. The knowledge is in my blood. In my mind, in my very cells." She walked away a few steps. "I am the last keeper. When the Carva destroyed my world, they thought they had won. They did not know that one escaped. Ethan watched her. Even with the mask, even with her alien form, he found her beautiful. The way she moved. The sound of her voice. He pushed the thought away. So what is your mission? To find allies. To build a force that can stop the Karva. She turned back to him. Your people might be such allies. Humans. We barely leave our own solar system. But you have potential. Your minds are different. You see patterns we miss. You feel things we do not. Before Ethan could ask more, alarm sounded. The ship's lights turned red again. They've found us, Valix said. She ran from the room, Ethan following. In the control room, the screens showed 3 Karva ships approaching. They were smaller than the big one they had seen before, but still dangerous. How did they find us? Ethan asked. They have ways. Valix's hands moved over the controls. We cannot outrun these. We must fight. Ethan felt fear rise in his chest. Can this ship fight 3 of theirs? This ship, no. Valix pressed something on her wrist. A door opened in the wall. But I have other ships. A small craft waited in the opening. It looked like a teardrop made of the same black material as the main ship. Stay here, Valix said. The ship will protect you. You're going out there alone? Against 3 ships? Valix put her hand on his shoulder. It was the first time she had touched him since healing him that first day. This is what I was born to do, Ethan. She climbed into the small ship. The door closed behind her. On the screen, Ethan saw the teardrop ship launch from the side of the main vessel. It moved fast, heading straight for the enemy. Ethan watched in awe as Valix flew. Her small ship danced between enemy fire. It spun and twisted in ways that should have been impossible. It fired weapons that cut through the Karva ships like they were made of paper. One enemy ship exploded. Then another. The third tried to run, but Valix caught it. Her weapons tore it apart. When she returned to the main ship, Ethan waited for her. She stepped out of her small craft covered in sweat. A cut on her arm leaked blue blood. You're hurt, he said, reaching for her. She stepped back. It is nothing. Let me help you. You helped me when I was hurt. Valix stood still for a moment, then nodded. She let him lead her to the healing room. She sat on the bed while he found bandages and healing gel in a cabinet. I need to clean the wound, he said. Can you take off the top part of your suit? Valix hesitated, then slowly removed the upper armor. Underneath, her skin was dark blue with patterns of light moving beneath it. The cut on her arm looked deep. Ethan cleaned it gently. Does it hurt? My people do not feel pain as yours do, she said. Everyone feels pain, Ethan said. They just show it differently. He put the healing gel on her wound. It closed almost at once. Her skin knit together like magic. Ethan realized she could have healed herself. She had let him help her for some other reason. Thank you, she said softly. You saved us out there, Ethan said. That was amazing flying. I have been fighting since I was young, she said. It is all I know. There must be more to life than fighting. Valix put her armor back on. Not for me. Not until the Karva are stopped. They sat in silence for a while. Then Ethan asked the question that had been on his mind for days. Why do you wear the mask? Valix touched the glowing face covering. My face would disturb you. Humans find my kind unsettling to look at. I don't think I would, Ethan said. But I understand if you want to keep it on. Valix stood up. We will reach the safe place tomorrow. There I will show you something important. She walked to the door. Rest now, Ethan. Tomorrow will change everything for you. The next day they arrived at a small moon orbiting a dead planet. The ship landed in a crater. Valix led Ethan through the ship to an airlock. We can breathe here, she said, but it will be cold. They stepped out onto the surface of the moon. The sky was black with stars. The dead planet filled half the view, gray and lifeless. What is this place? Ethan asked. A secret place. One of the last outposts of my people. Valix walked toward a rock formation. She placed her hand on a certain stone and an opening appeared. They went down into the moon. Tunnels lit with the same blue light as the ship led deep underground. They finally came to a large room filled with technology. In the center stood a round platform. This is why I brought you here, Valix said. This is why I saved you. What is it? A way to share knowledge. She stepped onto the platform. My people can share memories, thoughts, even skills through a mental link. With this device, I can share with a human. Ethan looked at the platform with doubt. You want to link minds with me? Why? Because I need help, Ethan. I cannot fight the Karva alone. And your mind works differently than mine. You might see solutions I cannot. So you just want to put information in my head? No, it goes both ways. I will learn from you as well. She held out her hand. It is your choice. You can say no, Ethan thought about it. About Earth so far away. About the Carva, who had attacked his ship without warning. About Valix fighting alone against an empire. He stepped onto the platform and took her hand. What do I need to do? Just stand still, she said. She pressed something on the edge of the platform with her free hand. Light rose up around them. Ethan felt a strange tingling in his head. Then images flooded his mind. A beautiful world with 3 moons. Cities built into mountains. People like Valix, tall and graceful, with faces that the connection broke. Valix stepped back, her mask still firmly in place. I'm sorry, she said. I showed too much. Ethan's head hurt, but he felt different. New words and ideas filled his mind. He understood things about the ship, about space travel, that he hadn't before. Your world was beautiful, he said. Yes, it was. Her voice held sadness for the first time. They returned to the ship in silence. That night, Ethan dreamed of Valix's world, of its destruction, of a young Valix watching her planet die from a ship much like the one they now traveled in. He woke up knowing that whatever she asked of him, he would help her. Not just because it was right, but because in that brief mental connection, he had felt something else from her. Something she tried to hide. She was lonely, the last of her kind, fighting an impossible war. And somehow, against all logic, she felt a connection to him that went beyond need or use. He understood then that their meeting had not been chance. Something had drawn them together across the stars, and mask or no mask, alien or not, he was starting to care for her more than he should. The days after the mind link changed things between Ethan and Valix. They spoke more openly. She taught him how to help run the ship. He told her about Earth, about his life before the attack that left him drifting in space. Your world sounds crowded, Valix said one day as they sat in the control room. The ship flew itself through a quiet part of space. So many humans in such small spaces. Some places are crowded, Ethan agreed. But there are still wild places, forests, mountains, deserts. He smiled. I grew up near mountains. I used to hike every weekend. Hike? Walk for pleasure. To see beautiful places. Valix tilted her head. Today her mask had patterns like falling leaves. My people did not walk for pleasure. We had purpose in all things, and that sounds strict. It was our way. She turned to look at the stars. Now there is only my way. Ethan wanted to reach out to her, to touch her hand. He didn't. It must be lonely. Being the last. Loneliness is a luxury I cannot afford. She stood up. Come, there is something I must give you. She led him to a room he hadn't seen before. It looked like a medical bay. Strange tools lined the walls. A chair sat in the center. What is this place? Ethan asked. Sit, Valix said, pointing to the chair. Ethan sat down slowly. What are you going to do? Valix picked up a small device from a table. It looked like a silver disc the size of a coin. The mind link was temporary. This is permanent. Permanent? Ethan started to stand up. Not a full link, Valix said quickly. Just a translator. A way for us to communicate perfectly and... She paused. A way for me to find you if we are separated. You think we'll be separated? I hope not. But the Carva are still hunting us. We must be prepared. She held up the disc. This will bond to your skin. At your temple. It will hurt for a moment, then never again. Ethan thought about it. He already trusted her with his life. This was just one more step. Okay, Valix moved closer. Her fingers were gentle as she placed the disc against his right temple. Ready? He nodded. Pain flashed through his head, sharp and hot. Then it was gone. The disc felt cool against his skin. Can you hear me now? Valix's voice came from both her mask and inside his head. Yes, Ethan said, surprised. How does it work? It reads brain patterns. Translates them. She stepped back. Now we can speak even when apart. Even in danger. Even in silence. Thank you, Ethan said. Then, trying to think the words instead of saying them, he added, Can you hear my thoughts? Only what you wish me to hear, Valix replied in his mind. Your private thoughts remain your own. Over the next few days, they practiced using the link. Ethan learned to send clear messages with his mind. Sometimes, when not thinking about it, emotions slipped through too. He felt Valix's surprise the first time it happened, when he accidentally sent feelings of happiness during a meal they shared. "Your emotions are strong," she told him later. "My people kept feelings controlled, hidden. Is that why you wear the mask? To hide your emotions?" Valix was quiet for a long time. "Partly," she finally said, "but also because my face shows what I am. The last keeper. The void key is part of me. It shows in my features." "I still don't understand what this void key really is," Ethan said. "It is better if you don't. Knowledge can be taken. The Carva have ways to pull information from minds." That night, Ethan dreamed of the Carva, of being captured, of pain as they tried to take information from his head. He woke up sweating and afraid. Valix stood in his doorway. "You were projecting," she said. "I felt your fear." "Sorry," Ethan said, sitting up. "Bad dream." Valix came into the room and sat on the edge of his bed. "Dreams are important. My people believe they show what might be. Then I hope this one doesn't come true. We will be careful." She reached out slowly and touched the disc at his temple. "This connects us. If you are ever taken, I will find you." Her touch sent warmth through him. Not just physical warmth, but something deeper. A feeling of connection, of belonging. "Thank you for saving me," Ethan said softly. "For everything." "You have not seen everything yet," Valix replied. She stood up. "Rest now. Tomorrow we reach the trading post. We need supplies." The trading post turned out to be an asteroid that had been hollowed out and filled with shops, bars, and housing. All kinds of aliens walked the curving streets. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange Ethan couldn't tell which end was the front. "Stay close," Valix told him as they left the ship. "This place has no laws." Ethan stayed at her side. He wore clothes she had given him, a dark suit that fit like a second skin and helped regulate his body temperature. He still felt out of place. "What are we looking for?" he asked. "Parts for the ship, food, information." Valix moved quickly through the crowds. She stood out, taller than most, her masked face drawing looks from others. They visited shops where Valix traded small crystals for parts and supplies. Ethan helped carry everything. The disc at his temple sometimes tingled when certain aliens passed by. "They're trying to read you," Valix explained. "The disc blocks them." In one shop, while Valix argued with the owner over the price of some engine part, Ethan felt someone watching him. He turned to see a small alien with too many eyes staring at him from the doorway. "Human," the alien said in a whispery voice. "Rare here." "I'm with her," Ethan said, nodding toward Valix, the masked one. The alien blinked several eyes. "Dangerous friend you have." "What do you mean?" The alien moved closer. "There is a price on her head, and now on yours too." It held up a small screen showing pictures of Valix and, to Ethan's shock, himself. "Carva pay well for you both." Ethan stepped back. "You're wrong." "Not wrong. Careful." The alien slipped away into the crowd. Ethan waited until they left the shop to tell Valix through their mental link. "They have pictures of us. There's a bounty." "Expected," she replied calmly. "We will not stay long." They were heading back to the ship when it happened. A group of large reptile-like aliens stepped out from a side street, blocking their path. Their scaled skin was marked with red symbols. They carried weapons. "Bounty hunters," Valix said, both out loud and in Ethan's mind. "Be ready to run." "The masked one," the biggest alien said, pointing at Valix. "And her human pet. Come quietly. Less pain that way." "No," Valix said simply. Her hands moved to her sides, where small weapons were hidden in her suit. "Then pain it is." The alien grinned, showing rows of sharp teeth. Everything happened fast. Valix moved like lightning, her weapons out and firing before the bounty hunters could react. Two fell at once. The others returned fire. Energy blast hit the wall behind Ethan as he ducked. "Run!" Valix's voice shouted in his head. Back to the ship. Ethan didn't want to leave her, but he knew he couldn't help in this fight. He turned and ran down a side street. Behind him, he heard more weapons fire. Screams. He kept running. He was almost back to the docking bay when something hit him from behind. He fell, his head hitting the ground hard. Before he could get up, rough hands grabbed him. A bag went over his head. Something stung his arm, a needle. The world went dark. Ethan woke up in a cell. His head hurt. The disc at his temple felt hot. The cell was small, with metal walls and a single light in the ceiling. A clear barrier served as a door, showing a hallway beyond. He tried to stand and found he was chained to the wall. "Hello?" he called out. Anyone there? No answer came. Ethan closed his eyes and focused on the disk. Felix, can you hear me? Silence. Either she was too far away or something was blocking the signal. Time passed. Ethan couldn't tell how much. Hours, maybe. His mouth was dry. His head still hurt. Finally, the sound of a door opening came from down the hall. Heavy footsteps approached. A figure appeared outside his cell. A Carva. Ethan had never seen one up close before. It was tall, with gray-green skin and a face that reminded him of Earth insects. Multiple small eyes. Mandibles instead of a mouth. It wore some kind of armor with symbols etched into it. Human, it said, its voice coming from a device at its neck. You are awake. Who are you? What do you want? Ethan tried to keep his voice steady. I am Vorkath, commander of the Carva 3rd Fleet. The alien's mandibles clicked, and what I want is in your head. There's nothing in my head you would find interesting, Ethan said. Lies. The Carva touched a control, and the barrier disappeared. It stepped into the cell. The masked one has shared with you. We know this. We tracked the energy signature of the mind link. Ethan felt cold fear in his stomach. I don't know what you're talking about. The Carva reached out and touched the disc at Ethan's temple. Pain shot through his head. This device. It connects you to her. To the last lumina. Its finger pressed harder. To the void key. I don't know anything about a key. Ethan gasped through the pain. More lies. The Carva stepped back. We have ways to get truth. It took a device from its belt, something that looked like a silver spider. This will connect to your mind. It will take what we need. Ethan pulled against his chains. Stay away from me. Resistance brings pain, the Carva said. Cooperation brings mercy. I can't tell you what I don't know. The Carva moved closer with the spider device. We will see what you know soon enough. Suddenly, the lights in the hallway went out. Alarm sounded. The Carva turned toward the door. It never finished the sentence. A blue energy blast hit it in the chest. It fell to the floor, dead or stunned. After escaping the Carva ship, Felix took them deep into a nebula. The colorful clouds of gas and dust hid their ship from sensors. For 2 weeks they drifted, making repairs and recovering from their ordeal. Ethan spent hours helping Felix fix damaged systems. They worked well together now. The mental link made it easy. She could show him exactly what to do without words. He learned quickly. Your mind adapts fast, Felix told him as they fixed a power coupling. Most species cannot learn our technology so easily. Maybe humans are special, Ethan joked. Yes, Felix said seriously. You are. The tone in her voice made Ethan look up at her. Her mask today had star-like patterns that slowly moved across its surface. The Carva know about you now, she continued. They will hunt you as they hunt me. I know, Ethan said. I'm not afraid. You should be. Felix put down her tools. The commander who captured you was minor. There are greater ones, worse ones. We'll face them together. Felix was quiet for a moment. There is something I must show you. Something I have kept hidden. She led him to a room he had never entered before. It was at the very center of the ship. The door was locked with security he had never seen. Felix placed her hand on the door and it melted away. Inside was a small room with a pedestal in the center. On the pedestal floated a crystal the size of Ethan's fist. It glowed with shifting colors, blue, purple, green. Energy seemed to dance inside it. What is it? Ethan asked, though somehow he already knew. Part of the void key, Felix said. Not all of it, that is truly within me. But a physical component. A key to the key, you might say. Ethan felt drawn to the crystal. It's beautiful and dangerous. It holds enough power to destroy a planet. Felix stepped between him and the crystal. If the Carva get this and capture me, they will have what they want. The power to tear holes in reality itself. Why show me this? Because if I fall, if I am taken, you must destroy it. She took his hands in hers. And you must kill me too! Ethan pulled his hands away. No, I won't do that. You must. The alternative is worse. The Carva will use the void key to conquer all worlds, including your Earth. Her voice was firm. I trust you, Ethan, only you. The weight of her words hit him hard. There has to be another way. Perhaps that is why we fight, to find that other way. She turned back to the crystal. But we must be prepared for the worst. As they left the room, the ship's alarm sounded. They ran to the control room. The screen showed a massive ship approaching through the nebula. A Carva dreadnought. Valix said, her hands moving over the controls. They found us. How? We're hidden in the nebula. A traitor. Someone from the trading post. She brought up more screens. This ship is too big to fight. We must run. The engines powered up. The ship began to move through the colorful clouds of the nebula, but the Carva ship followed, gaining on them. They're too fast, Ethan said, watching the screens. Yes. Valix seemed to make a decision. There is one way. She looked at him. Do you trust me, Ethan? With my life. Then hold on. She entered commands into the ship's systems. The engines changed tone. The ship shuddered. Outside, the stars began to stretch and twist in ways Ethan had never seen before. What are you doing? He asked. Using the void key, part of its power. Valix's hands moved in complex patterns, creating a fold in space. The ship lurched forward. The stars outside became lines, then swirls, then disappeared completely. They flew through nothing, a void between spaces. Ethan felt sick. His head hurt. The disc at his temple burned. Hold on. Valix's voice came in his mind. Just a little longer. Then suddenly they were back in normal space. Stars shone around them. A blue-green planet filled the view screen. Where are we? Ethan asked, his stomach still turning. Your home system, Valix said. We are near Earth. Ethan stared at the planet. It wasn't Earth, but Neptune. We're in the solar system? How? The void key allows travel between points in space instantly. But it is dangerous, unpredictable. Valix leaned back in her chair, seemingly tired. I could only risk a small jump. You brought me home, Ethan said, realizing what she had done. Why? Your people need warning. The Carva know about Earth now. They will come. She looked at him. And you deserve a choice. To stay with your kind or to continue with me. The thought of leaving her made Ethan's chest tight. I'm not leaving you. Think carefully. The path with me is dangerous, possibly fatal. I've already chosen. He took her hand. My place is with you now. Through their mental link, he felt her relief. And something more. Something warm and growing between them. They moved the ship closer to Earth, staying hidden behind the moon. Valix helped Ethan send a coded message to Earth's defense forces. He warned them about the Carva, about the coming danger. He included data from Valix's ship showing Carva weapons and weaknesses. Will they believe it? Valix asked as they sent the message. Some will. Enough to start preparing, I hope. Ethan looked at the blue planet on the screen. I wish we could tell them in person, but I cannot go to Earth, Valix finished. The risk is too great. And I won't go without you. They stayed hidden for 3 days, watching Earth from afar. Ethan felt strange seeing his home planet but not being able to visit. It was so close, yet now seemed part of another life. On the 4th day, the sensors detected multiple ships leaving Earth orbit. They were heading toward the outer system. Toward them. They're looking for us, Ethan said. They got the message. And now we must leave, Valix replied. Before they find us, where will we go? To find allies, other races who fight the Carva. She started the engines. There are many who resist, but they are scattered. Unorganized. As the ship moved away from the moon, an alert sounded. One of the Earth ships had changed course. It was heading directly toward them. They've spotted us, Ethan said. Their weapons cannot harm the ship, Valix assured him. But I do not wish to frighten them. The Earth ship was closing fast. A message came through on an open frequency. Ethan recognized military protocols. Unknown vessel, this is Captain Lori Walsh of the Earth Defense Force. Identify yourself and state your intentions. Ethan looked at Valix. Should I answer? She nodded. Briefly, Ethan opened a channel. Captain Walsh, this is Commander Ethan Pierce. I sent the warning about the Carva. Silence for a moment. Then Pierce? You're reported dead. Your ship was destroyed 3 months ago. I survived. I was rescued. Ethan paused. The warning is real, Captain. The Carva are coming. Prepare Earth's defenses. Return to Earth with us, Commander. We need your information. Ethan felt torn. Part of him wanted to go back to help prepare his world, but a stronger part knew his place was with Valix now. I can't do that, Captain. I'm needed elsewhere. All the data you need was in my transmission. Who's with you, Pierce? Who rescued you? Ethan looked at Valix. She shook her head slightly. Allies, Captain. Friends of Earth. That's all you need to know. The Earth ship was very close now. Close enough that they might be able to scan the interior of Valix's ship. We need to go, Valix said quietly. Ethan sent one last message. Prepare Earth, Captain. The Carva will come within a year. Maybe sooner. Trust no one who offers advanced technology too easily. The Carva use such gifts as traps. With that, Valix activated the engines. The ship shot away from the Earth vessel, quickly outpacing it. Soon they were beyond the orbit of Pluto, leaving the solar system behind. Ethan felt a strange mixture of sadness and relief. I hope they listen. Your Captain Walsh seemed capable, Valix said. Her ship moved with purpose. Your people are not helpless and against the Carva. We're children playing with toys. All races begin somewhere. Valix stood up from the control panel. Come. There is something I must do before we go further. She led him to her private quarters. Ethan had never been inside before. The room was simple but alien. The bed was a shallow pool of softly glowing liquid. Strange objects that might have been art or technology lined the walls. Valix stood in the center of the room. What I am about to do has meaning among my people. It is not done lightly. What is it? You have proven yourself a true ally. More than that, she reached up to her mask. You have earned the right to see. Slowly, Valix removed the mask that had hidden her face since they met. Ethan held his breath. Her face was alien but beautiful in its own way. Her skin was deep blue with patterns of light that moved beneath it like stars in a night sky. Her eyes were large with vertical pupils that glowed softly. She had no nose, just smooth skin with small breathing slits. Her mouth was small with lips that shifted color as he watched. But most striking was a mark on her forehead, a pattern of light that formed a complex symbol. It pulsed gently, changing colors from blue to purple to green just like the crystal they had seen. The void key, Ethan said softly. Yes, it is part of me. In my mind, in my genes, and visible on my skin. She stood still, letting him look at her. This is why the mask. The mark would tell any Carva exactly what I am. Ethan stepped closer. You're beautiful. Surprise showed on her face, emotions now visible without the mask to hide them. My kind would not be considered beautiful by human standards. Maybe not by some humans. But by me? Yes. He reached out slowly and touched her cheek. Her skin felt smooth and cool, with a slight vibration beneath as if energy ran just under the surface. 3 months passed on the barren planet. Ethan and Valix worked each day to repair the ship. The damage was worse than they first thought. Key systems needed parts they didn't have. They had to create replacements from what they could find on the planet. They built a small shelter outside the ship, using parts of the damaged hull. At night, they sat together under the alien stars, planning their next moves. The resistance base is here, Valix said one night, drawing a map in the dirt. In the Cygnus Arm. Many races who fight the Carva gather there. How many? Ethan asked. Thousands. Perhaps tens of thousands. She smoothed the dirt with her hand. Not enough, but it's a start. Yes, a start. She looked up at the stars. The Carva control hundreds of worlds, millions of soldiers, fleets of ships. Ethan touched her arm. Numbers aren't everything. Earth history is full of small forces defeating larger ones. Through their mental link, he felt her doubt. But also her determination, her hope. You give me strength, Ethan, she said softly. Before I found you, I was losing hope. Well, now you're stuck with me, he said with a smile. She took off her mask, something she now did often when they were alone. Her face in the starlight was beautiful to him. The patterns of light under her skin shifted with her emotions. Not stuck, she said. Blessed. The next day, while testing the newly repaired engines, the sensors picked up a signal. A ship was approaching the planet Carva? Ethan asked, looking at the readings. No. Valix studied the signal. Something else, something. Her voice trailed off. What is it? Impossible. She looked at him, her mask back in place but her shock clear through their link. It's Lumina, my people's design. But you said you were the last. I thought I was. She ran to the control room, Ethan following. The ship came into view on the screens. It was smaller than theirs, but similar in design. The same flowing black material, the same organic look. It's a scout ship, Valix said. One of our fastest designs. The ship entered orbit around the planet. A message came through. Not in words, but in pulses of energy that made the disk at Ethan's temple tingle. What are they saying? He asked. They're asking who we are. Valix sent a reply. More energy pulses. I've told them who I am, what I carry. Minutes passed in tense silence. Then the ship began to descend, landing half a mile from their position. Stay here, Valix said, moving toward the exit. No way. Ethan grabbed a weapon. We go together. She hesitated, then nodded. Together. They walked across the rocky plain toward the landed ship. It was indeed similar to Valix's vessel, but newer, sleeker. A ramp extended as they approached. Ethan felt Valix's tension through their link. Her hand hovered near her hidden weapon. A figure emerged from the ship. Tall like Valix, similar build. But this one wore no mask. His face, for it seemed male, had the same glowing patterns under blue skin. But no mark on the forehead. No sign of the void key. Valix, last keeper, the alien said in the musical language Ethan had heard Valix use when talking to her ship. Zarel, Valix replied, her voice filled with shock. You live, as do many others. He looked at Ethan. You travel with a human? He is my bonded companion, Valix said firmly. He knows all. The alien named Zarel studied Ethan for a long moment. The council will not approve. The council lives too? Valix's voice shook slightly. Come, there is much to tell. Zarel gestured to his ship. Both of you. Inside Zarel's ship, they sat in a room much like the garden room in Valix's vessel. Living plants from many worlds grew around them. Zarel offered them food and drink, familiar to Valix but strange to Ethan. We believed all were lost when Lumina fell, Valix said. I searched for survivors for years. We hid well, Zarel replied. In the shadow realms, between spaces, where the Carva cannot go. How many survived? 3,417. Zarel's face showed sadness. Out of millions. Still you lived. Valix reached out and touched his arm. Our race continues. Yes, and we have not been idle. Zarel looked at Ethan again. The human. He bears our technology. He pointed to the disk at Ethan's temple. I gave it to him, Valix said. He is trusted. No outsider has ever been trusted with the mind link before. Times change. We must change too. Valix's voice was firm. Ethan has proven himself many times over. Zarel seemed to accept this. The council awaits. We should go. Our ship is damaged, Ethan said. We will return for it later. For now, my ship can take us to the colony. They gathered what they needed from their ship. Valix insisted on bringing the crystal, the physical part of the void key, keeping it in a secure container that only she could open. As they prepared to leave, Ethan felt doubt creeping in. Will your people accept me? He asked Valix through their mental link. They will, she replied. And if they do not, we will leave, together. The feeling that accompanied her words warmed him. Their bond had grown stronger each day, beyond friendship, beyond alliance, something neither had a name for yet, but both felt deeply. Zarel's ship moved faster than Valix's damaged vessel. Within hours, they entered a strange part of space. The stars seemed to bend around them, light twisted in impossible ways. The veil, Valix explained to Ethan, a boundary between normal space and the shadow realms. The ship passed through the distortion. Beyond was nothing Ethan could properly see or understand. His human eyes and brain couldn't process it. The disk at his temple grew hot. Close your eyes, Valix told him through their link. Let me guide you. He closed his eyes. Through their connection, he saw what she saw, a space that existed in more dimensions than humans could perceive. Structures that folded in on themselves. Light that moved in patterns rather than straight lines. We're here, Zarel announced after what seemed like both moments and hours. Ethan opened his eyes. They were approaching what looked like a small star, but as they got closer, he saw it was artificial. A sphere of energy containing a world. A small world, but complete with land, water, and structures. The colony, Valix said with awe in her voice. They built a pocket realm. Their ship passed through the energy sphere. Inside was a landscape that reminded Ethan of the images he had seen in Valix's memories. The world of Lumina before its destruction. Mountains with cities built into them, forests of trees with glowing leaves, lakes that shimmered with inner light. They landed on a platform outside the largest city. A group waited for them, 20 or so Lumina, all without masks, all watching as the ship's ramp extended. The council, Valix said quietly. The leaders of our people, are you ready? Ethan asked. No, she admitted. But we go anyway. They walked down the ramp together. The council members stared at Ethan with obvious surprise and suspicion. One stepped forward, older than the others with patterns of light that moved more slowly under his skin. "Valix, keeper of the Void Key," he said formally. "We had thought you lost." "As I thought you all lost, Elder Terran," Valix replied. She removed her mask, revealing her face and the glowing mark of the Void Key on her forehead. Murmurs ran through the group. Many bowed their heads slightly. "You bring an alien among us," Elder Terran said, looking at Ethan. "I bring an ally. A friend, she hesitated. "A partner." More murmurs, less respectful this time. "The human has a mind link," Zeril informed the council. "She has bonded with him." Elder Terran's expression darkened. "This is against our most sacred laws, Valix. The technology of the Lumina is for Lumina alone." "Laws made before our world died," Valix replied, "before we faced extinction. Laws that protect the Void Key from those who would misuse it." Ethan felt tension building. Through the link, he felt Valix's anger and determination. "I have carried the burden of the key alone for years," she said, "believing I was the last. Fighting the Carva without help. Ethan has stood by me, has risked his life for me and for the key. The human cannot understand what the key truly is," another council member said. "I understand enough," Ethan spoke up. All eyes turned to him. "I know it's powerful. I know the Carva want it. I know Valix has protected it at great cost." He stepped forward. "And I know I'll die before I let them take it from her." Silence followed his words. The Lumina looked at each other, communicating in ways Ethan couldn't hear or see. Finally, Elder Terran spoke again. "You will both come before the full council tomorrow. For now you will rest, separately." "No," Valix said firmly. "Where I go, Ethan goes." A tense moment passed. Then Elder Terran nodded stiffly. "As you wish, Keeper." They were given a dwelling on the edge of the city. It was beautiful, built into a living tree with rooms that seemed to grow from the branches. Through the windows they could see the false sky of the Pocket Realm, with its artificial but lovely stars. "Your people don't like me much," Ethan said as they settled in. "They fear change," Valix replied. "For thousands of years we kept to ourselves, kept our secrets." She sat beside him on a bed that shaped itself to their bodies. "But that world is gone. What will happen tomorrow? They will question us. They will want to know everything that has happened." She touched the disc at his temple. "They may want to remove this. Can they?" "Yes, but," she took his hand. "It would break our bond. The connection we share would end." The thought made Ethan's chest tight. "I don't want that." "Nor do I." She leaned against him. Without the mask, her expressions were clear, worry but also determination. "I will not let them separate us.